And we are back. Bryan Broaddus, our beautiful audience notices everything. You know, they all notice me pointing at the screen, but they starting to see you pointing now too. You know what I'm saying? They starting to see you pointing at the screen too, Bryan Broaddus. So shouts out to them, shouts out to you, shouts out to everybody watching right now, no matter where you're watching on this Friday. Man, this is Friday, and I love questions, man. I love asking you questions because these aren't just questions that we just kind of want to know the answer to. We are having a thought exercise, Bryan Broaddus.
Right.
We're trying to have a little bit of deep thought.
Right.
I got some low-hanging fruit for you, though, right now, bro. So you got a couple of them. I got some, too. But I got one low-hanging fruit, then we'll talk about some other stuff.
Okay.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, I can't catch all the episodes on the radio. I can't catch them all because I be working, too. But somebody said, man, beloved Stephen Jones came on the radio today. He was on G-Bag and them talking to y'all.
Yeah.
And man, he said some stuff on there. He was like, man, Mike McCarthy say Dalvin Cook's gonna be active. He could be active. He could possibly be active. It looks like, I don't know. It feels like Dalvin Cook's gonna be active, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah, it does. And you know, and I was on this morning, you know, with Nick Harris, and yeah, I love my work with Nick Harris and Ambar Garcia and Derek Eagleton on the break, and just out of nowhere, Nick Harris goes, "I look for Dalvin Cook to be active this week," and I just shot him a glance like, bro, you breaking news here? What's going on? And when we went to break, I said, you get this pretty wired? He goes, oh yeah, we got it wired. And so it was starting to come out as the day wore on. I was kind of hopeful that I was glad that Zach Wolchuk, I believe, asked the question. I told Zach, I go, hey, do me a favor. I don't think Steven will answer it from me, maybe, but he'll answer it maybe from you or somebody else. Ask him about Dalvin Cook, you know, and then that's where that kind of went down the pike. So I was texting with some people in the organization, and he did practice. He did take some reps, and he looks like he's ready to go. So maybe their adjustment in the post-bye will to see what the situation is with Dalvin Cook here the next few weeks.
Now,
and then go from there.
So Bryan, you know, we just can't put somebody on the team and somebody just stay there. We got to take somebody off now, Bryan.
Yeah.
It's looking like 15. 15 is the guy that you're probably going to take off to put Dalvin on.
Well, you have a situation right now, depending on what you want to do. You know, you have that spot with John Stevens was on the, are you talking about an active player, or are you talking about just put him up for the game?
If Dalvin is on the 46, the 48, the 40, whatever, he's active on game day, he could get some carries. Right. Who is then not going to be on the 40, on the 46, 48?
Yeah, the whispers are saying that they'll work on this on Saturday. I don't want to really speculate that it would be Ezekiel Elliott.
Sure.
I think by tomorrow, if, like I say, I'm going to try and find this one out, because I've got much like you, I have a pregame show I have to do. So I need to figure this one out. Yeah. But I was hearing some whispers that it might be Elliott. Now, couldn't get it confirmed.
Sure.
Could not get that confirmed. You've already got Deuce Vaughn down. You've got Hunter Lipke. They have to play with him. Rico Dowdle is always going to be in the mix. So if you're going to do something with a back, the odd man out here would be Ezekiel Elliott. That was what the whispers were saying. Hopefully after practice tomorrow morning, before they get on a plane, I think they leave. I think they leave about 1:30, 2 o'clock tomorrow, heading for Santa Clara. That we'll know by then. After the morning practice.
So let me just look you in the face just so we can have clarity here. Not on the screen. I want to look you in the face right now just for clarity. You saying if your last name is Jones, right, and you can't get fired, does 15 get cut so that we can make we can make this permanent room for Dalvin Cook? You know what I'm saying? Because if Dalvin gets elevated, he ain't going back to practice squad. In my personal opinion, he's not going back.
If he gets elevated, it could be for John Stevens' spot. That's what I was trying to say. The tight end.
Mm.
They've got a roster spot.
They got a spot.
They got a roster spot because of John Stevens' knee injury. It happened this week in practice.
I'm cutting him anyway, though, bro. I'm cutting 15 anyway. I'm trying to get Chuma Doga involved or something. I think this 15 experiment, it was a fun little fuzzy experiment for the fans of 15 for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Zeke's dad is on social media. I hate when the family members and the parents get involved and all that kind of stuff, man. But I think it's time, man. I think it's time. 15, I help you. Yeah.
And if Dalvin Cook, say, were to get activated and then also play well, that they have somewhat of a semblance of a running game. This is a fresh body.
Sure.
This is somebody that hasn't, gone through all the rigors. I mean, they haven't run the ball worth a damn. We all know that. All our listeners know they haven't run the ball worth a damn.
Sure.
The Pittsburgh game, if you could have a Pittsburgh game every week running the football, you could have a chance. They need to find a way. And maybe Dalvin Cook is that guy. I would, like you and I have been talking about it, and I think you're in agreement with me. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. You mean, when you're telling me in the red zone we're averaging 0.8 yards a carry, not even a yard a carry in the red zone, I'm interested in getting Emmitt Smith back. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting, I'm interested, go Troy Hamrick, whoever, give me somebody that maybe when you hand him the football, it is going to be a positive gain, or give Rico Dowdle more carries.
Yeah.
But if it got down to where they needed the spot and they had, all things, I wouldn't be opposed to moving on from Ezekiel Elliott. I really wouldn't. But I think if they want to get Dalvin Cook active on the 53-man roster, the roster move would be to put John Stevens down and then elevate Dalvin Cook.
And Brian, I got one more, and this is all the same question, man. This is all.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Like
okay.
we have room for it right now, but I'm just kind of over 15. I got one more for you though, Bryan Broaddus, in that same kind of note. This is Dalvin's first week, and I know everybody's going to be excited to see, Dalvin suited up or whatever, right? But this isn't the week where Dalvin Cook gets a bunch of carries. Like, what would they do? Not what would Brian do? Brian would just give him 15 right now and just see what happens. But Mike McCarthy, how do you think your play caller uses him? Week one.
I think Dalvin. I think that Rico Dowdle will clearly be your starter, and then as you get into the game, depending on if you could keep this thing, the thing you have to worry about is San Francisco running the ball and keeping the ball away from you. And then, and then it's, it's 7-0, then it's 7-3, then it's 14-6, then it's, they need, if Dalvin Cook is going to help you in this game, you need to find a way to keep this game close, because if it starts to get out of hand, then what happens? They start throwing the ball. We always harken back to that Pittsburgh game, the balance that they had between run and pass. The game was close, so they were able to kind of stay in their offense. If you are interested in Dalvin Cook and see how he's going to do, you need this game to remain close so they don't get into a game where all of a sudden they're down 21-6, and now Dak Prescott is trying to, throw passes on Ward and, all those guys on the outside. Now it's about trying to, see a little balance. And my plan would be Rico Dowdle, a couple of series, and then see if, see then what Dalvin Cook has.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, if Dalvin Cook has a good series, I'd keep playing Dalvin Cook until he proved to me he couldn't play anymore. That's what I would do. And then go back to Rico Dowdle. But I think it just really depends on the flow of the game, is how much you might see Dalvin Cook in this game.
Thou shalt see. Go ahead, Brian. I just carried us 10 minutes with just mine. But go ahead. What you got?
Voch,
yes, sir.
Answer me this.
Yes, sir.
The loser of this game won't make the playoffs.
I think the North is so stacked. I think they may have 3 teams.
Mm-hmm.
if I'm looking at the West right now, I mean, you're kind of competing with Seattle and them, and
looks like the Rams kind of found something all of a sudden, having Puka Nacua back, and do they get on a little run now?
I think the 49ers have a clearer path to win their division, even though they might be like third or something like that. I think
they're last.
They're last right now. Damn,
they're last. And if you look at their schedule, on that schedule, it's got Seattle, it's got Detroit, it's got Buffalo, it's got Green Bay. They've got some games, bro.
Yeah, we do too, though.
That's what I'm saying.
We do too,
that was my point. That was my point.
Yeah.
If you lose this game, yeah, you've got, you'll be 3-4,
sure, with
10 games to play. But where's your hope? Where's your hope? It used to be your hope was you could run that East.
Sure.
You could run the Commanders for 2, you could run the Giants for 2, and you were going to split with the Eagles likely. You were going to be 5-1.
Sure.
That was your hope. I don't know if that necessarily is your hope anymore. Yeah, you can run the Giants, but we'll still see about the splits with, hell, I think you have to be worried about the Commanders myself.
Sure.
But with Houston on the schedule and Cincinnati on the schedule, there's some games that are going to be different. That's why I was curious maybe what you thought. I think San Francisco's path is clearly a stronger one for them to have to deal with. But I kind of feel like that if Dallas goes out there and loses this game and loses it in really bad fashion, I don't know. I think right now you're kind of at a team that has a little bit at the crossroads.
Yeah.
You need that Pittsburgh victory was good, but you followed that thing up with an absolute stinker.
Sure.
You need to find a way to put this team away if you can.
I think the Cowboys still have an opportunity, because if they can just simply be better than Philly and Washington, then the Cowboys can be the 7-10 home team, 4th seed this year. That old nonsense that everybody hates. Yeah. And once you're in the tournament, you're in the tournament. But I think, and this is how I feel about the Eagles and the Washington Wizards. There, I think you'll have an easier time dealing with them than the 49ers will have dealing with the Seahawks and the Rams. I think the Rams are like they're more healthy now, and I think the more healthy they get, I think the more dangerous they get. Just like last year, Brian, the Rams looked weird as hell for like 8 weeks, but nobody wanted to play until
they figured it out. Yeah,
as long as you got Stafford and those dudes are relatively healthy, and Kyron Williams got a damn touchdown every game or something like that, I think the Rams and the Seahawks are a little dangerous on top of the hardest schedule that the Niners got. I think if the Cowboys lose, they'll be kind of fine. Mm-hmm. They both suck, but the Cowboys will be kind of fine. But I think if the 49ers lose, I think that's a hell of a hole to dig out of.
Yeah, I let me ask you this question then.
Sure.
We always like to talk about this one. The more desperate team.
I can make an argument that the Niners are the more desperate team because they're already down to, like, they've already lost to the Rams and the Cardinals. So we talking about win the division. They down 2 to those guys already. At least we're up on the Giants one time. And the Cowboys still have time to figure out, all right, we can figure our life out until we run into the Eagles and we run into the Wizards and we run into the Giants or whatever, right? The Niners are down 2 when the Rams were bad. And the Cardinals, who are a bad team, we would say, they're down 2 already. So now they fighting for their life for real, for real. I think the Niners need this more than the Cowboys do.
Yeah. I kind of feel like, though, that we always talk about the crossroads too, is another thing we like to talk about. I think both teams are standing right at the crossroads, the fork in the road. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, I think you need this game.
Sure.
I think you've got to quiet some things. These losses that you've had have been horrific. And so you need to figure out a way to, they played well on the road. And that's your hope. I give them a lot of credit for the Cleveland win. That's opening day. Both teams completely healthy. You beat up by what I thought was a pretty good Cleveland team. The record right now doesn't show that they're a very good team. But going on the road and beating Pittsburgh, and the Giants at the time were playing pretty decent football. Neighbors was kind of coming into his own, and you kind of slug through that game. I think you're going to, if you could turn this into a Pittsburgh game, I know I keep saying it, balance running the ball, get some timely stops, make the 49ers have to punt, make this guy have to turn the ball over a little bit too. if you can do that. How about this question for you? The 49ers have forced 8 interceptions in the last 4 games. Is this going to be a clean sheet for Dak Prescott?
My answer is no, because there's one time where Dak clearly throws interceptions.
Yeah.
Game is over. We at the end. We maybe got a quarter left, and we down by 3 damn scores, and we trying to drive and run the football is out of the question. Dak throws picks there. Dak throws picks there. He's typically safe with the football. He may throw the ball to somebody and they drop it or something, but Dak typically doesn't put the ball in danger. But when we're pressing and running the football is out of the question, Dak throws picks there. So if I had to assume how this game is going to go, I still want to see how the game is going to go because I still think the Cowboys can do it.
Sure.
I think they can do it. But this dude, man, I just believe football teams and having your number. I just believe football teams have your number sometimes. And I think, I'll even say this, Brian, how about this? Even if it's not a blowout, right? Because I think the Niners offense will have its challenges.
Yeah.
Even in a close game, Fred Warner still know how to mess everything up.
Does.
Still, we just can't look at Fred Warner. I was talking to somebody about this game, and they was like, "Yeah, Voch, you think Fred Warner's gonna chase Ferguson around?" I'm like, "Man, Fred will chase CD around. Fred will chase everybody around, you know."
Right.
And Dak will get sacked by Fred Warner. Dak will throw the ball to Fred Warner. He does it all the time. So I think even if this game is close, even if the Cowboys win or are winning, I think it's a great opportunity that Dak can throw the ball to them because the defense is healthy. The Niner defense is healthy.
Yeah, see, the thing that I always worry about with Dak, and there's been games where Dak has come into this 49er game and playing pretty well, and still there's problems. He didn't see the linebacker. Oh, he didn't see the safety standing there. Oh, he did. Oh, ball got tipped. Oh, maybe the ball got knocked in the air. You know, this is a team in the 49ers that creates turnovers. They're going to do that. They've got quarterbacks to throw interceptions. They do it through scheme. They do it just through athletic ability. As you mentioned, guys like Fred Warner, they play really aggressive with their corners. Even though they're corners, they play a lot of zone coverage. They drive on balls. They make tight window throws. They make you, they challenge you in a lot of ways. But, the safety play hasn't been great for them. But this is where I always worry about these games for Dak when you have a crafty, smart, instinctual linebacker that can cover any one of your guys, but is really good at dropping and kind of disguising and then reading you and then getting in the way of the ball. That's what I always worry about with Fred Warner when you play him. Dallas never handles him well. You can talk all you want about Bosa, and how he plays. You can talk about Bosa, but when it always came down, it seemed to me Warner and Greenlaw.
Sure.
No Greenlaw on this one, but this will be tough for him to if Dallas, if he keeps a clean sheet in this game, and I'm talking about interceptions, but I'm also talking about 4-man rush fumbles. Standing in the pocket, getting the ball knocked out of his hand. If he can keep a clean sheet, this Dallas's path. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them anything cheap. Find a way to protect the football and make plays.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, they're going to lose this game. It's going to be, they got to, he's got to protect the football.
Brian.
Yeah.
Got a question, man. We get visited by our fairy godmother. And our fairy godmother has a Dolly Parton cowboy cheerleader uniform on. And the fairy godmother give us 2 options.
Sure.
She say, Brian, in this one option, you can have a surge of defense.
Yeah.
And Trevon Diggs will give you 1 interception and Oso Digizua will give you 2 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
But in the other, your fairy godmother says your team's unit will gift you points on offense and Kevontae Turpin runs one back for a touchdown. Brian, do you take the help on defense where Diggs gives 1 pick and Osa gets 2 sacks, or do you take a Kevontae Turpin touchdown on a kick return?
I was watching some special teams film of the 49ers. They've had 2 punts faked against them that I saw. So people obviously think they could do things against this
Sure.
49er special teams unit.
Sure.
Me personally, because I asked a similar question and I said, and I'll give you this answer, but I asked the question of Nick Harris. I said, you could either play excellent run defense or you could be really good in the red zone on offense. Which one you taking?
Damn. You asking me? You asking me?
I'm asking you. I mean, I'll answer your question. I'll answer your question. Give me the defense. Sure. You know, I'll take my chances on special teams. Sure. You know, hopefully we don't give up anything big, and hopefully your field goal kicker's still doing the great things he's been doing. I have faith in this special teams unit.
Sure.
Give me the defense. Give me Diggs making a play. Give me good tackling. Give me, good run defense. And that's what I would take. But to you, would you take really good red zone offense or really good run defense?
I think their run game is the only way they can really beat us.
Yeah.
I think their run game is the only way they can really beat. Now, they may slow us down from scoring. We may score like 15 or some dumb shit. You know, Brandon go out there and kick all the kicks, 18 points just off his leg. But if you could keep these dudes from if you can keep Jordan Mason from getting 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, Purdy rushing around getting one or some goofy stuff like that, man, I'm taking defense also. I think points are going to be at a premium regardless.
Yeah,
especially for this Cowboys offense. It's always been that way. It's always been those first 2 losses or whatever in the playoffs. It was Cowboys couldn't score, Rams barely couldn't score, but they scored enough. Then it was ass whooping, but the Cowboys couldn't score.
Yeah,
man, stop those dudes from scoring, and I at least feel strength in my offense. They got our number, but I feel strength in our offense. Man, if them dudes go out there and rush for 140 yards, we ain't beating them no way.
Yeah, give me that. As bad as the red zone offense has been, as bad as it's been, man, you just don't need them to hit you for, you don't need both their backs and their quarterback, and all of a sudden you look up and it's 283 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, something like that.
Yeah, you
don't need that. That's not going to do you any good.
Sure.
And what scares me even more is we've talked about this week, Voch, is the fact that you play loaded box and you're just not having any success stopping anybody doing that. What's your next mechanism? What's your next trigger? Is your next trigger making sure, is your next trigger in this game, like all of a sudden it's like, well, damn, they're not going to throw the ball. Do you put Marquise Bell in there, who will make 1 million tackles? You play Marquise Bell at safety and play him down and hope that he's better than Wilson or better than Hooker playing run defense. He was as we all know, he was an all-ball linebacker, 208 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever he was.
Sure.
Little son of a gun, tackled every single time he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
That might be what you need to do in this game. You might need to get Marquise Bell on this field if they're going to run the football and not throw it on you. And by the way, I got some connections out there on that West Coast. Kittle's going to play and Deebo Samuel's going to play. So you're dealing with those guys in this game. Get ready for that.
That's big.
Yeah. And that's that. Deebo Samuel, how much, they put him in the backfield and they hand him the ball. They haven't thrown it to him a whole lot. They've only thrown it to him one time, targeted him one time, that is. They hand the ball to Juszczyk. I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys' adjustment in this game is to take Hooker off the field. Take him off the field if it turns into a running game.
Sure.
Put somebody down in that box that's physical and can tackle. And that might be Marquise Bell. That would be my thought. If I was Mike Zimmer, I would give me as many dudes that can tackle on that defense. Because if you could find a way to, I don't think you're going to bottle this guy up, but when he gets to the outside, he's tough. This guy's tough to deal with. Bottle him up, keep him inside, and get bodies to the ball. That's your best hope right there.
Is KJ Henry sneakily going to be a key to this game, stopping the run?
You know what? I think KJ Henry, when I watched him play with the Commanders, I was surprised. But man, I felt like that I've seen Phillips and others. I'm like, man, this guy didn't play bad in the preseason. Oh, he looked pretty good in the preseason. And then Henry played the other day, 12, 14 plays. And, and I was like, damn, not bad.
Sure. Kind
of physical, got length, knows how to kind of get back on the ball, go up the field, get back on the ball. The edges are going to be so important in this game. Yeah. If Dallas lets McKivitz and Williams and those tight ends
and pull on them,
and just wear Dallas out on the edges, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
But if Dallas finds a way to play with some length, play with some control at the point of attack, that's where this game is. That's stopping that run. You stop the running game from running the outside, the toss sweeps, the things like that. Make San Francisco have to throw it a little bit and hope you could play some intermediate pass routes. You're going to get the crossing routes. You're going to get, you're going to get a lot of Kittle. You're going to get those stupid delays that they run.
Sure.
They block, and next thing you know, they're out in a route. You're going to get the wheel route from Juszczyk. There's a lot of things you got to defend on this offense, but
yeah.
I think line one is don't let them run the ball on you.
Sure.
That's line one.
Give me one more, Brian.
Bigger concern, Steele or Guyton?
Guyton. I think Guyton. I think Steele has always had to go against the better dude. All year, Steele's going against the better dudes. And he's still better than Guyton going against the second guy, And look, I think you can play with Guyton. I think you can win with Guyton. I think you can have a good offense with Guyton. I've seen Dak Prescott play with Cam Irvin and Cam Fleming and Ty and Secchi and all kind of nonsense over there, Bryan Broaddus. I've seen him do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just need my play caller, or at least relinquish responsibility, or be aware to know that you cannot leave your rookie left tackle over there by himself. I know he had a good practice versus Michael one time, but boy, this the game. This is a game. And there's consequences to negligence here. Your left tackle is not a superhero, and I think it'll be great for him if your coach treated him like a backup. If your coach treated Tyler Guyton like Tyron Smith was still here, but he just got hurt.
Right.
Treat Tyler Guyton like that. Hey, man, we got a backup in the left tackle. Let's help him.
Yeah.
That should be a part of the game plan. And I think that'll help Dak greatly, immensely. I mean, Dak ain't got to have 5 wide receiver options out of empty because you're cutting the field in half anyway, Bryan Broaddus.
Right.
We're a one-read offense regardless, Mike McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Take one of them dudes from downfield and let them hang in there with Tyler Guyton and let him block.
The problem is, and this is one of those metric things, and maybe you and I have talked about this, there's nobody in the league that plays with their offense wider formation width than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Nobody. They play, they're at right about 27 yards of width. 49ers play at 20 yards width. One of the most condensed teams in the league, them and the Rams. You know why they do that? So they can block, so they can get guys in position to help. Nobody does a better job of putting his guys and trying to get numbers than this coach for the 49ers.
Sure.
Need to take a page out of their book and play a little bit more condensed offense. Yeah. Need to play a little bit more condensed formation. I'm not asking Tolbert to play 3-4 yards outside of Bosa and try and block him on the inside cutoff block. Not going to do that this week. Yeah. I'm going to treat Bosa like, if you go back and fans remember, the first start that Steele had was against Bosa's brother against the Chargers. And what did they do? They chipped, they spaced, they doubled, they cut, they let him block one-on-one. But they kept Bosa off balance. The problem you run into in this game is, I think Floyd's pretty good on the other side. But I think you have to have some balance here of how you help. But we're going to look up and we're going to get the Monday morning metrics, and we're going to see big wide spacing, and we're going to see Steele and Guyton were single blocking 81% of the time.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And then you're kind of, you're at the mercy of how that plays out. I would hope that maybe they went back in this off week, and started studying some things like we're really bad in certain things. I think spacing is a bad thing for this offense. I think they try and think playing wide is going to help them. I don't know. I don't know that. I see these really good teams moving the ball. Their guys are able to block. Their guys are able to play in bunch formations. Their guys are able to kind of run picks. Their guys are able to do a lot of things. I see separation. I see some separation in a lot of these plays. And I don't know if our coach, and I think this is why Jerry Jones said it on the Fan that one day, and he talked about scheme and design and things like that. He wasn't just talking out his ass. That's stuff he's looking at. I mean, there's people in the organization that are telling him, this is, and he's probably asking the question, well, why is Tolbert trying to block Aiden Hutchinson there? Yeah. What are we doing there? What kind of scheme is that?
From outside leverage to the left, trying to block him to the right. Goofy, ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so you're telling me we're trying to fool this guy by running a pretty simple little flat route? No. That's going to hold him?
We're just running downfield and turning around, Bryan Broaddus.
Okay, yeah.
That's all we're doing.
So that's my hope. My hope, a couple of hope going in this game is better red zone offense and playing their asses off the edges on the run defense. Yeah. Because they're going to get challenged. 49ers are not a good defensive red zone team. Don't make them any better. Don't give them anything, that helps them be that. Let them keep being bad. Force them to continue to be bad. That's my hope.
Some got to give, Bryan Broaddus. One of us. One of us. They either gonna stop us.
Hey, man, they're gonna run routes in the middle of the field, and you're gonna be able to cover routes in the middle of the field. Yep. If you go out there and play like you did against the Lions, covering routes in the middle of the field,
good luck to you.
You're gonna get what you deserve.
Yeah. Hey, man, we're gonna do a post game show at some point. It's a night game, so you're gonna be working.
I get off. Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. Unless you want, I get off at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Why would I want to do a post game show at 2, sir? No. So yeah, we gonna get back Monday. We gonna get back right Monday.
Yeah, we'll get that tape all done, and then we'll see everybody Monday night. But again, thanks everybody for a great week, for hanging out with us. I love working with this man, and I love reading your comments, and any questions you have, I'll get up in the morning and ask them or answer them again. But appreciate everybody out there, really do.
Thank you, Bryan Broaddus. Voch Lombardi, BRY, getting Broaddus on all social medias. Check him out on all his other content. All right, y'all hold it down. We'll catch y'all next time. Love you. Crown.